Hi book lovers, welcome back to my channel. I know it's a little bit late, we're already a week into January, but I wanted to talk about even more 2020 new releases that I'm excited about and can't wait to read. In one of my previous videos, I talked about the sequels that I was really looking forward to, but today I just want to talk about all these standalones, the debuts, or like the starts to new series that are releasing this year. There are a lot of them. 2020 is just chock full of amazing new romances to read, so get ready for this probably long video. Like I did for my sequels video, I'm just gonna go in the order of these books releasing, starting with January books. I know it's already a week into January, but the books that I have on my list are not out just yet. And first up is, of course, my queen, Penelope Douglas, and her upcoming standalone Credence. I am dying for this one, obviously because it's Penelope Douglas and I love her and read anything and everything from her. I love the cover of it. It gives me some Forks vibes, like Twilight Forks vibes. We don't know too much about it, but all the teases that Penelope has been like posting on her social media and her Facebook group are just killing me because we still don't really know who the hero is supposed to be. The heroine is basically forced to live with these mountain men, a dad and his two sons, and any of those three guys is a possible hero. I know a lot of people are rooting for the dad. I mean, I kind of am too, but I don't know if she would do that like so soon after Birthday Girl. Even if she does, I don't mind it. Give me all the daddy characters from Penelope Douglas. For some reason, I just have a feeling that it's gonna be one of the brothers or like one of the sons, but I guess we'll see who it's gonna be. I love that all of these guys are basically mountain men. Cannot wait to read it. It's out in like a week or two, and as soon as this book goes live, gonna drop everything to read it. Next is Whatever It Takes by Kristen Becca Ritchie. This is book one in their new duet. Both books are actually releasing in January, which is amazing. I love and so appreciate authors who release books within a series very close to each other. It's called the Bad Reputation Duet, and it is we're finally getting Willow and Garrison's story. It's a new adult romance. It is a spin-off of the Addicted series, one of my favorite series ever, and that series was where we were first introduced to Willow and Garrison. It was either in the second or third book in the Addicted series, and Garrison basically becomes kind of like a younger brother to Lo, but before he gets on Lauren's like good graces, he's actually very much a bad boy, like doing pranks all the time, getting into lots of trouble. He is very much the bad boy to Willow's good girlness. It can be read as a standalone, or like the duet can be read without having read the Addicted series, but I'm just gonna say you should read the Addicted series just because it's amazing. One of my favorite new adult series ever. The authors originally released Willow and Garrison's, like the beginnings of their romance, for free on Wattpad, but they never finished it, so I'm just beyond happy that we're finally getting their romance just because I love their characters so much in the Addicted series. You will probably hear Boo walking around and huffing because it's his walk time. And also I was so happy the author sent out an email to the people receiving ARCs, and I was one of them. So as soon as it arrives, USPS says it's arriving on Friday, so as soon as it gets here, I am reading that thing. And last for January, Sarah and I is releasing a new series called The Bachelor's Club, and book one is called Bastard Bachelor Society. It's the series centering around a gentleman's club, but the guys are not gentlemen and very much focused on being bachelors. The main characters in this one are neighbors. I love the falling for the neighbor trope, and I can't wait for this one. Sarah and I writes the funniest new adult romances, and I can't wait to see how the so-called bachelors fall in love. Moving on to February is Temporary Wife Temptation by J.C. Lee. I am so excited for this one. The author is a debut Asian romance author, and this cover is stunning. I'm so in love with it. so in love with the Asian cover models. This one is a fake relationship, fake marriage kind of romance. The hero needs a pretend wife, the heroine needs a pretend husband, so obviously they strike a deal with each other. This next one is a fantasy romance, a start to a new series. It is A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Mila Vane. It's the first in the Gathering of Dragon series. It's like an epic fantasy romance. I have not started it just yet, but I will really soon. It's enemies to lovers and a marriage of convenience. It's all about barbarian warriors, and honestly, you say the word barbarian and I am probably going to read it. I have such high hopes for this one. I just really want a new fantasy romance to fall in love with, so praying that this one lives up to the hype. Next is a rom-com, very much like a wedding-ish kind of romance, and that is The Worst Best Man by Mia Sosa. This is a standalone. It's enemies to lovers, and actually the hero was the guy, well, the brother of the heroine's ex-fiance, and he, the hero, was the one who got his brother to basically call off the wedding. So these two do not like each other, but they kind of have to work together now for the heroine's wedding planning company. I'm also going to be reading this one soon, and I just love this cover. I doubt it's going to be a love triangle despite the 3 people on the cover. Next up in March, I have to talk about the next Sarah J. Maas book, House of Earth and Blood. This is gonna be her adult series, the first in her Crescent City series. The heroine is half human, half fae, and is on a quest for revenge on her murdered friends, and the hero is a fallen angel. This is gonna be a gigantic book, 800 pages. Who knows how long it'll take me to read this thing, but I do love her books, or at least I've only read the Court of Thorns and Roses series, and I love that series, so really excited about this new fantasy world. Next is Christina Lauren's next standalone, The Honey Don't List. I'm including this one despite like their latest books kind of disappointing me, just because I'm still hoping that this next one will wow me. I do love the premise. The main characters both work for this celebrity it couple, and they're both forced to go on this book tour for the couple. So they're all road tripping, lots of forced proximity going on. It's like an office romance but out on the road. Next is a new book from TJ Klune. This is a standalone. It's called The House in the Cerulean Sea. It's a fantasy all about magic, and the hero, he is assigned to investigate this orphanage where these really dangerous children live, and he ends up falling for the caretaker. I'm excited about this one. I love TJ Klune and his writing. I do actually have an arc of this one. It's been waiting on my Kindle for forever. Don't know why I haven't already read it, but hopefully I get to it soon. And then last of March is Dear Enemy by Kristen Callahan. I am so excited about this one because 1, it's Kristen Callahan and I love her books, and 2, it is childhood enemies to lovers kind of romance. After 10 years of never having to see each other's faces, they're back in each other's lives. The hero is like a Hollywood celebrity actor, and the heroine has to pay a debt to him by becoming his personal chef and assistant. I love this premise so much. It sounds hilarious, but apparently it's also supposed to be very emotional. April also has a bunch of amazing sounding books. This first one is actually a debut. It's called You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogel. It sounds so freaking good because it's a lovers to enemies to lovers kind of romance. The main characters are engaged, but then they come to realize that they don't actually love each other anymore and want to back out of the engagement, but whoever backs out of the wedding has to basically pay for the wedding. That's not going to happen. So these two go head to head, trying to sabotage each other, pulling pranks, and they come to realize that they may have fallen back in love with each other. It honestly sounds like the perfect rom-com, and I'm just so happy and excited for this debut author. And next, we're finally getting a new series from Dorinda Jones, who I love. She's one of my favorite urban fantasy authors, but this book This new series is not fantasy, I don't think. It's straight up contemporary, mystery contemporary. It's called A Bad Day for Sunshine, and the heroine, Sunshine, is the town sheriff, and she's got a missing teenage girl that she has to look for, and 2 love interests. I love this author's Charlie Davidson series. So sad when it ended, but happy that we're getting new series, although I am still waiting for the Charlie Davidson spin-off. This next one I actually just got in the mail. It is To Have and to Hopes by Martha Waters. I love this cover, although it reminds me a lot of Kissing Tolstoy by Penny Reid. It is a historical romance rom-com, which honestly I always need more of. It is also another lovers to enemies to lovers romance. The main characters are married, but basically a year into their marriage they got into this huge fight, and since then they just haven't talked to each other, and now they've gotten into this sort of game where they want to teach the other a sort of lesson, playing pranks on each other. It sounds like so much fun. Cannot wait to get started on this one, and I think this is also a debut book. Speaking of historical romances, this next one, I am in love with this cover and I love the blurb for it. It's called The Rakess by Scarlett Peckham. We've got a freaking female rake in this one for the heroine, and I can't wait. Give me a historical romance heroine who is liberal and radical and plus a rakess, and I will for sure read it. She has a fling with a widowed single father, and of course end up falling for each other. I just love this cover so much, and I love the idea of this heroine. This author is new to me. I've been wanting to read some of her historical romances for a while. I've heard nothing but amazing things for them. Next is the Happy Ever After playlist by Abby Jimenez. This is the standalone sequel to The Friend Zone, about the best friend Sloane who has lost her fiance. Honestly, I was not really expecting this one to be a rom-com, but apparently it is. Apparently it's fun and sweet, which is great because the ending of The Friend Zone was so depressing. She ends up finding this lost puppy and adopts it, starts to fall in love with it, but she finds out that the dog actually has an owner and the owner wants him back. The hero, the owner of that dog, is also a musician. I love this premise. It's honestly a kind of romance that I would want to have myself because dogs. But yeah, I love that Abby Jimenez loves dogs so much and puts so much of them in her romances, and I'm really excited about this second book of hers. Next is Not That Kind of Guy by Andy G. Christopher. This one is a rom-com, an office romance. It's got a little forbiddenness to it. She's his boss. He is her intern, at least for like a couple more days. As soon as his internship ends, he asks her out on a date, and they end up in Vegas. And what do you do in Vegas? You get married. I don't know if it's accidental or very drunk, but it's very much a we got married in Vegas kind of romance, which is not something that I read or come across too often, but when I do, I have loved the ones that I read. And last for April is Island Affair by Priscilla Oliveras. This one is another fake relationship kind of romance. It's a fake engagement. The hero is a firefighter paramedic, and he plays the pretend fiance for the heroine during her Florida family vacation. I have not read this author before, but I'm in love with the gorgeous cover, and of course I love this trope, so it's a yes for me. We're halfway through now. We're already in May. And first up is The Trouble with Hating You by Sajni Patel. This one is kind of an office romance. Like, the main character's parents first kind of set them up together despite them not wanting to be set up, and then the next day they see each other again because the hero is the new lawyer for the heroine's company. So I'm expecting a lot of, you know, late nights at the office, a lot of great banter together. Next is Real Men Knit by Kwana Jackson. Berkeley has been killing it with these rom-coms and these illustrated covers. First they gave us heroes who read romance novels, and now they give us heroes who knit. It is a childhood friends to lovers romance, and and it's got a hero who, after the passing of his mother, he wants to keep his mother's knitting store open. I love this premise, and I'm just really excited to read about a hero who knits. And then Kristen Ashley has a new series coming out, the Dream series, starting off with Dreammaker, with the heroine who is basically a nerd and needs money to pay for her engineering degree and turns to dancing at a club. The hero is your classic KA alpha protective bad boy kind of hero. I'm excited about this one because it's giving me a lot of Rock Chick vibes, which is one of my favorite series from Kristen Ashley, and I think it actually is like a spin-off of the Rock Chick series. There's some connection, I don't know, because I haven't finished the Rock Chick series. I've only read the first 5 books, so there is that to look forward to. Hopefully we see some cameos of the Rock Chicks and their significant others, of course. And then Alyssa Cole also has a new series, a new royal series coming out in 2020. It's called How to Catch a Queen, the first in the Runaway Royal series. It is an arranged marriage between the main characters, with the hero being the king of his country and the heroine being seen as an outsider. I love this little line in the blurb where it kind of sounds like she is the dominant one in their sexual relationship. It sounds great. I loved one of Alyssa Cole's royals romances from 2018, I think, A Duke by Default. That one was so good. So I'm looking forward to this new one. And last for May is Berkeley's very first FF romance, Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilsner. It's another debut romance, and it's between a Hollywood showrunner and her assistant. The paparazzi kind of got a photo of them laughing with each other, which of course obviously makes them a couple. But now they're hounded by gossip and they're forced to work even closer together for this new film project. I love a good boss-assistant kind of romance, and this one obviously has the Hollywood spin to it, so cannot wait for this one. And then in June we've got another queer romance, and that is Conventionally Yours by Annabeth Albert. I've actually got the ARC with me, but it doesn't have the final cover. It is enemies to lovers. The heroes both are forced together on this road trip, and it's got fandoms and conventions and all that good stuff. This is a new to me author, but I'm really excited about this book. I'm actually surprised I got a book so early because I got this a couple months ago, and this one won't be out until June. So hopefully this does get a lot of marketing. It is the first book in this new series from Source Books of queer romances written by queer authors. And then we've got The Boyfriend Project by Farah Roshan. This one is a rom-com. It's about one of 3 best friends who bonded together after finding out that they were all being cheated on by the same man. This heroine is a little jaded, so when she meets the hero, she's not exactly jumping for joy or all that trusting of his motives. I don't think there is a series name for it just yet, but it is going to be about all 3 of those friends who were cheated on by the same guy. It reminds me a bit of the Lauren Lane Central Park Pack series, which I love, so very much looking forward to this new series. And then the last few romances for the rest of the year. First is You Had Me at Hola by Alexis Daria. I am so in love with this cover. Like, I love illustrated covers, even though they all kind of start to blend together at this point. But I do love when the cover has a little twist to the illustrated cover, and this one obviously does. I think it's stunning. This book, this rom-com, is set in the world of telenovelas, which are Spanish soap operas. The main characters are telenovela actors, and they've just been cast together as the new couple for this new show. So lots of rehearsing, behind the scenes kissing, all that good stuff. The blurb says it's like Jane the Virgin meets the Kiss Quotient, which is so perfect. Next, JC Lee, who I mentioned earlier in this video. She is publishing Temporary Wife Temptation. She's also releasing another book later this year called A Sweet Mess, and this one is a foodie romance. The heroine is a Korean American bakery owner, and she ends up having a one-night stand with this food critic. He ends up turning her bakery into this whole mess, and now they have to work together to save her bakery. I love the sound of this one. I love foodie romances, and I just have such high hopes for this author. These last 2 romances are actually also by Korean American authors, and it's a Korean American romance. First is Heart and Soul by Jen Frederick. In this one, the Korean heroine is adopted as a child to white parents, and she's kind of had an identity crisis her whole life. After her father dies, she goes to Korea, to Seoul, basically to try to find her roots. She goes on adventures, finds this forbidden love, and it's very much like a Korean drama. And then last of this list is Loathe at First Sight by Suzanne Park. It's an enemies to lovers office romance with a heroine who just got her dream job as a video game producer, which I think is so cool and so amazing. She develops this new mobile game, and she is pretty much forced to work with the guy that she hates most. I think this one sounds so good, mainly for the video game aspect of it, and I'm just really happy and excited to see all these Asian American romances coming out this year. Hello, so I completely forgot about these last couple of books that don't have release dates to include it in my list. So I'm filming this a little bit after I finished filming the original video. Again, these ones don't have specific release dates, but they are supposed to be coming in 2020. So first off is LJ Shen's new series, starting with The Hunter and the Prey. The series name is called BB, which is probably an acronym for something we'll find out later. We don't know what it's about, but obviously I'm excited about it because I love this author. And then we also have Queen Move by Kennedy Ryan. This one is a standalone spin-off of the All the King's Men duet about Kimba, and this one is a second chance romance. I am so excited for Kennedy Ryan to be writing a second chance romance. I can't wait. I loved Kimba when I read The Rebel King, The Kingmaker. She was such a fantastic character. I'm not sure if her hero though is gonna be with that guy that she had a fling with in Amsterdam. This one can be read as a standalone. You don't have to read the All the King's Men duet, but you should, because it's one of my favorites from last year. Such a fantastic duet. And then Penny Reid is finally coming out with her Cletus and Jen series, the handcrafted mystery series starting with engagement and espionage. This is a series about Jen and Cletus, who are the couple from the Winston Brothers series, book 3, Beard Science. In this new series, it's gonna be like a mystery contemporary. Jen and Cletus are already together, but I'm sure romance will still be a pretty big part of it. We'll get to see their engagement and possibly their wedding. The release date does say that it's out in May, but I'm not sure if it's 100% set like to that date, just because Penny hasn't really talked about it all that much. And then this last series, this is more like a I'm hoping it's coming out in 2020, and that is Penelope Douglas and her Hellbent series. This is the much awaited spin-off to the Fall Away series about all the kids, the second generation from the original series. Again, this is not even set for 2020, but I'm just gonna include it as like a wishful thinking kind of thing. Penelope Douglas did post on her Facebook that she's releasing like 3-ish books this year, hopefully. The first one is Credence, of course, but she kind of crossed off the other 2 ones, so we don't know what exactly they are. Maybe it's Motel, the book that was teased at the end of Birthday Girl. Maybe it's the series, I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm excited for it. Cannot wait for more of her books, because I think she only released 1 book last year, Kill Switch. I mean, I don't mind waiting, but the more Penelope Douglas books I can get, the better. And oh my gosh, how could I forget? The actual final book in this list is Sally Thorne's next standalone, Second First Impressions. I love Sally Thorne. The Hating Game is one of my favorite rom-coms in the whole wide world, and I actually did enjoy 99% Mine. I enjoyed it for the most part, and this new one sounds so perfectly Sally Thorne. The heroine is the front desk receptionist at a retirement villa, which of course Sally Thorne would write a character with this kind of job. Like, I've never read someone working at a retirement villa, but I love it and I'm so excited for it. The hero is the son of the property developer who just bought the retirement villa, and because the heroine doesn't want him around her, She has him basically doing all the residents' bidding, like doing repairs, picking up laundry, all that good stuff. It just sounds so adorable and I can't wait for more from Sally Thorne. And now back to the original video. And that is my list for all of these Standalones debuts, first in new series, romance books that are releasing in 2020. I talked for so long that my lighting is not good anymore. Let me know if you're looking forward to any of these. If you have any that I didn't talk about that you're excited about, let me know too. All of these books, as always, are in the description below. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you all next time. Bye!